Golf Central on YouTube, brought to you by the Epic Speed Driver from Callaway.
And hello again and welcome. I'm Rich Lerner. This is your Golf Central update. What a performance by Sam Burns, 24-year-old standout out of LSU. He breaks through for his first ever PGA Tour win. Friday, 63. And he took care of his business on the weekend. He putted beautifully all week. And the difference was Keegan Bradley making double bogey at 13, hit his tee shot in the water. And Burns, even with a bogey at the final hole, is able to win by 3 shots. We're diving into the ShotLink stats at the CDW Intelligence Center with a look at Burns' win at the Valspar, going beyond the scorecard. And he took advantage of the par 5s, playing them in a mind-boggling 15 under for the week, scoring average on the 5s of just over 4. That's how you win tournaments. And he had 2 eagles as well. And joined now by Paige, Mackenzie. What jumped out as you watched Sam Burns win for the first time?
Obviously, the birdie and the par 5 scoring was impressive, but it wasn't just about that. It was also survival on some of the most difficult golf holes that the PGA Tour players face, and that's the snake pit, the 16th, 17th, and 18th holes. And when I think back on Sunday, to me, the birdie on 16 was so impressive. Coming into that hole, being 2 over on the tournament, missing 2 of the first 3 fairways when he played it, and then stepping up and nailing it right down the center of the fairway and then capping it off with a birdie putt. To me, that was the last chance for disaster, and he not only answered that test, he then went ahead and birdied it, and it was a pretty easy walk from there on in.
As we look ahead, you ask the question, is there more? I think we all feel there will be more. He has power, which you seem to need in today's game, but he putted beautifully, so he's got a nice touch.
He's got a nice package. Obviously, the ball striking and the putting, and then when you think about the mental side of it, what we saw from him, and the fact that he'd been in contention, and then he learned from those moments and was able to then eventually convert it, as we saw on Sunday. To me, there's mental fortitude there as well.
Mental fortitude, you could be describing Mike Weir, who had a long drought, long time between victories. In fact, it was 2007 on the PGA Tour, the last time Mike Weir won, but just shy of his 51st birthday, the former Masters champion and popular Canadian finally got it done. Almost 5,000 days winning the Insperity on the PGA Tour Champions down at the Woodlands in Houston, outlasting John Daly, who made double bogey on the final hole to let it get away. Mike Weir joined us earlier on Golf Today. Mike, great to see you. Mike's down in Birmingham, Alabama, getting set for the major championship, the Regions Tradition. Weirsy, congratulations. I know how much people in Canada love the sport and love you, and I know how frustrating it's been, especially in Ontario with the shutdown. The golf courses aren't even open, so I'm just curious, what was the reaction from your beloved Canadian faithful after the win last night?
Yeah, it's been great. I did, when I was finished, I did a media call with a bunch of Canadian media members and had a great conversation. And then, yeah, just the messages and DMs and all those sorts of things coming through from a lot of people up in Canada. Yeah, you're right. I mean, it's been a frustrating time. And in Ontario, it's been, things have been spiking up there. But to have golf courses shut down, I think a lot of people are scratching their head on that. So we're anxious to get golf going again. I mean, people are really ready to get outside and get with it. So hopefully that gave them a little boost last night to inspire them when they do get going here, hopefully soon.
Mike, of course, it's hockey season, and I've been reading a lot of the Canadian papers, and it seems that every hockey columnist that I read somehow works golf into the column. So here's my question to you, because, I've made this observation. I'm not alone for a lot of years. Why is it, do you think, that hockey players, particularly Canadian hockey players, are so darn good at the game?
Yeah, I think there's some similarities to a slap shot in the golf swing. You have to use your lower body, you have to use your core. That one-sided motion. So I think there's some real benefit to having that upbringing and having that cross training of hockey. And like you say, Jimmy, I mean, a lot of the hockey players that I play with can really hit the ball, and so there's definitely some correlation there.
Hey, Mike, you talked about that you learned some valuable lessons during your difficult years in the decade after your last PGA Tour win in 2007. What were some of those lessons?
Oh boy, there's quite a few. I think, for me, I think perseverance is one, no doubt about it. Finding the love in the game again. It kind of took its toll for a while there. I was in not a good place with my game, and I wasn't having much fun. And I had to tell myself and remind myself how much I love golf and how much this game's given to me. And, just not even tournament golf, just regular golf. And I wanted to get back to playing just good golf, just with my friends or family, first and foremost. And then the bonus of playing good tournament golf again is kind of a bonus. To be truth be told, I was really, I guess, as I say, in not a very good place at all, and to find that love of the game, it's taken a lot of hard work to get back. So I think perseverance is the one thing that I can lean on. That kind of pulled me through.
Was there a crisis moment in terms of a low point where, maybe you were even thinking no more golf, and what was the turning point, whether it was your golf swing or your attitude that changed that around?
I can't pinpoint one low point, but I would say that, putting a really good team together, Mark Blackburn, Jason Glass, my sports psychologist, Rich Gordon, there's so many people. P and Lynn, I've spoken to a lot out in Arizona. Janet Alexander, who's been, a strength and conditioning biomechanic person for me. I think just having a team and people to lean on to talk it through and come up with a really good plan, 4 years ago, it's kind of led me to this place. So it was a real team effort.
Whereas I want to give a little love to one of the great golf countries, Canada. I was up there not that long ago. I did a feature story on, speaking of hockey players, he's an NHL referee who won the Western Amateur, Garrett Rank. I think you probably know Garrett. And I had a chance to visit with the former U.S. Amateur champion, the great Canadian Gary Cowan, who's just a wonderful man. Who were the Canadian professionals and even amateurs who inspired you growing up?
Well, it's interesting. You mentioned Gary Cowan. In my college days, I had a number of battles in Ontario and Canadian amateurs and numbers of amateur tournaments around Ontario playing with Gary. And he was just such a great competitor. In fact, Ben Crenshaw told me the story at the Masters this year about Gary Cowan holing out his second shot out of the rough. He said at the U.S. Amateur, to win the U.S. Amateur, he said he walked over and he saw that he had this horrible eye, and Gary holed it out to win the U.S. Amateur. So he was a really gritty competitor. But, my early days, I was looking to Richard Zokol and Jim Nelford and Dan Halderson, Dave Bauer. Those guys were playing the PGA Tour when I was, kind of coming into my late teens and early 20s and looking to, become a professional golfer and find my way in the game. So I was always looking to those guys. And Zoke in particular, kind of took me under his wing early in my career, had lots of conversations with him, and he's been a real mentor of mine.
Yeah, you go all the way back. Al Balding, George Knudson, of course, the ball striking savant, kind of a legend. In Mo Norman used to roam the range at the Canadian Open. And now there's a great sort of new generation, Mike, and I think we'll see some of those guys at the President's Cup in the coming years, thinking about Corey Connors and Nick Taylor and Mackenzie Hughes. Those guys unquestionably inspired by you, and we're inspired by your comeback story. Congratulations, Mike, and best of luck at the Regions Tradition. We look forward to watching you and watching the whole field on Golf Channel later this week.
Yeah, appreciate it, Rich. Thanks, everybody.